One man, all day, digging, his hands bleed, his back breaks. The sun doesn't care by the time it sets. He has cleared enough soil to feed for people. Maybe 5 if the harvest is good. He has a wife, 2 children. That's for mouths. He barely survives. This is 10,000 years ago. This is all of human history before the plow. Now watch what happens when you change one thing. The same man, the same field. But now he holds something called the ard, the first plow. He clears 10 times more soil in the same time. The harvest comes back 10 times bigger. Suddenly, he doesn't just feed his family. He feeds 10 families. He feeds 100, and that is the moment civilization begins, because once you can produce more than you eat, you can stop moving. You can build. You can specialize. You can have priests, soldiers, kings. The plow didn't feed civilization. The plow created it, but civilization has a price. And the plow is the tool of that price, if you want to understand why empires rise and fall, why some nations are wealthy and others starve, why power itself exists. You have to understand the plow. Subscribe. This story goes deeper than you think. Let's go back to the very beginning, ancient Mesopotamia, the land between 2 rivers, Tigris and Euphrates. 10,000 years ago, the Sumerians looked at this land and made a choice that would echo through all of history. They decided to stop following the herds. They decided to control the earth instead. The problem was the floods. Wild, unpredictable. Sometimes they brought black, fertile soil. Sometimes they came with such force they washed everything away. Survival was a coin flip, but the Sumerians figured out something no civilization before them had understood. If you could move water where you wanted it, you could eat whenever you wanted, control the water, control the food, control the people. The ard made this possible. The ard was crude. Nothing but sharpened wood, lashed to a wooden frame, pulled by oxen. But it could prepare soil before the floods came. It could plant in straight lines. For the first time, a farmer could predict exactly how much food would grow. Predictability meant surplus. Surplus meant cities. By 3500 BC, Uruk had 80,000 people living in one place. 80,000. All fed because one tool could multiply a man's work. Writing was invented to count the grain that the plow produced. Mathematics was invented to measure it. Taxes were invented to steal it. The plow gave birth to everything. The Egyptians learned the same lesson along the Nile. They looked at the plow and saw power. They made it sacred. They painted it on tomb walls as if it were a god itself, because the plow was a god. It gave life. It gave order. It gave control. But the ard had a limit. It worked in soft river soil. But push it north into Europe, into heavy clay that had never felt a blade before, and it failed. The soil clogged it. A man could spend a day plowing one field and starve for his effort. This is why Northern Europe stayed poor and scattered while Mediterranean civilizations built empires. They had the technology. The North had mud for thousands of years. It stayed that way. Then, around the year 500, something happened. It wasn't dramatic. No one wrote about it. But it changed the world. Someone invented the Moldboard. It was a simple curve of metal, bolted to the plow's body. But that curve was a revolution. Instead of scratching the soil, the Moldboard lifted it, twisted it, turned it completely upside down. The clay that suffocated the old plow now fell away like silk. Man could suddenly plow in a single day what took 10 men before. What happened next was inevitable, explosive, northern. Europe's population tripled in 800 years. Forests burned. Wilderness became farmland. Villages became kingdoms. Kingdoms became empires. The moldboard plow didn't just feed more people. It remade the entire structure of human power, but there was a cost. The ancient farmer with his ard could work alone. The medieval farmer with his moldboard needed help. Needed oxen. Needed seeds. Needed land which he did not own. A lord owned it. He owned the oxen. He owned the harvest. And he owned the man. The plow created feudalism for 1,000 years. The moldboard plow kept millions of human beings locked to soil that would never be theirs. Working harvests they would never eat. Serving kings they would never know. The tool that freed humanity from hunger became the chain that enslaved it. This is the plow's secret. Every technology that liberates also enslaves. Every power that rises is built on the powerless. The same tool that gave us civilization gave us servitude. But in 1837, something changed again. A blacksmith named John Deere was working in Grand Detour, Illinois. America was expanding west. Settlers were pushing into the Great Plains, into soil that had never been touched by any plow in history, and every plow they brought from Europe failed. American soil was different, dense with roots from 10,000 years of wild prairie grass. It clogged every tool. It defeated every farmer. The dream of westward expansion, the promise of unlimited land, was being strangled by soil. Deere found a broken saw blade. High-quality steel, discarded and useless. He took it and fashioned it into a plowshare. Then he did something no one else had thought of. He polished it. Polished steel has one property that iron and wood don't. Soil doesn't stick to it. The prairie soil that stopped every other plow simply slid away from Deere's blade like water. Suddenly, a settler could plow 20 times faster. The land that seemed cursed became fertile. The Great Plains, which would have taken 1,000 years to settle, were transformed in a single generation. America's power, its wealth, its ability to become a superpower, all of it flows back to one polished piece of steel. That's not poetic. That's historical fact, but the plow didn't stop evolving there. From 1837 onward, every decade brought a transformation. The wooden frame gave way to iron. The oxen gave way to steam. The steam gave way to gasoline. The gasoline gave way to computers and satellites. Today, a farmer sits in a climate-controlled cabin, watching a screen. Satellites orbit above him, guiding his plow with millimeter precision. The plow adjusts itself in real time based on soil density, moisture, and slope. One man, one machine, plows in a single day what took a medieval village an entire season. The journey is complete. From a stick to a satellite, from a stick that enslaved and a tool that freed. So, what is the plow truly? Is it wood? Metal? A satellite? A farmer's hand? Or is it something deeper? A mirror of humanity itself, showing us what we become when we choose to master the world instead of living in it. We gained everything. We sacrificed everything. And we're still plowing. The tool changed. The hunger remains. In our next episode, we follow the greatest evolution of the plow, the combine harvester. The machine that didn't just prepare the earth, it devoured it. Watch how one invention ate the world. Subscribe. Because every tool has a story. And every story is a choice we keep making.